2 weeks left in the legislative session. We are here with one of the most busy legislators, both on the campaign trail and here in the state Senate. State Senator Brian Williams, welcome back to This Week in Missouri Politics.
Hey, Scott, it's good to be here. I feel like it's been a long time since we've been on the show together.
It has been. Early in session, we had the governor on, I believe. You were nice enough to join us from his office. You've been a busy guy.
No, it's been really, really busy. It's safe to say that I've been focused on completing my final legislative session, and we're looking forward to figuring out how we take St. Louis County to the next level.
You're talking about something that I hear people talk about that aren't necessarily political. If we were at Helen Fitzgerald's in South County, or you know, if you go around places I know, people talk about property taxes. They're out of control. I hear it a lot from St. Louisans. Property taxes are really putting a burden on people keeping their homes. I'm hearing you talk a lot about that.
Well, it's important, and let's keep in mind, you know, a year ago, we understood that this was an issue that was impacting not just St. Louis County, but the entire state of Missouri.
Yeah.
And right now, we see, not only in St. Louis County, but nationwide, affordability, the cost of living, groceries, gas prices, you know, for families like mine, childcare.
This war in Iran has just doubled down on all those things.
100%. And it's imperative that the legislature not only focuses on getting relief for taxpayers, homeowners, but in St. Louis County, making it affordable. So I've been proud to file legislation. We passed out the Senate today, which would allow taxpayers, homeowners to have not only more time to figure out whether or not their bill was wrong, but also ensure that they're not being taken advantage of by the system.
All too often, government is really there to serve government, and the public who pays for it all are just secondary things. It is nice. Some of these are common sense provisions to allow people to break their payments up. I mean, it's like somebody actually finally cared about someone paying these exorbitant taxes instead of it just being totally focused on the government gobbling them up.
Well, look, Scott, it's simple. I think about my mom, who's just 19 years older than me. It was clear that she had a hard time as a single parent raising me and my siblings. She had to make things meet. And when it was difficult to do, having the government not only take advantage of you as a taxpayer, but then you don't feel that you can trust the system.
Yeah.
Because your bill's coming late. You're not sure if it's accurate, and then you add that on with other expenses.
They don't ever err on the side of it being too cheap either.
No.
Every error is on the side of sticking you for more money.
And there's so many families in St. Louis County, just like mine, that have to figure out how to navigate this process, and it's been hard, it's been challenging, and it's cost them tremendously because of it.
Provision that the House passed, you guys passed, it's back to the House for a final pass. It looks like it's going to be on the ballot to eliminate the state income tax, replace it with, I guess, generally a sales tax. What do you think?
Well, first, I think it's important to recognize that if you eliminate one source of revenue, you have to replace it with one that we can ensure can offset the fact that we still need to rely on services. And I'm not 100% convinced that the sales tax is going to do that. However, I do know that we want to be competitive like other states, Florida, Texas, Tennessee. And I believe it can put us in a position to advocate for growing our region, St. Louis County, which I'm focused on, tourism. However, the voters will get to decide, and I'll be very interested to see what they do.
Well, speaking of money, you are bringing home a big chunk of money to St. Louis County. So it's $50 million of GR money coming to St. Louis County?
$51 million.
$51 million, I got you.
We're really excited about that. You know, St. Louis County has a $41 million budget deficit, and as a state senator that represents St. Louis County, I deeply recognize the fact that our region makes up 45% of the GDP. We drive the economy for the entire state of Missouri, so we can't do it while we're broke. So right now we have an opportunity for one-time funding to go into general revenue that I was proud to handle in the Senate, get across the finish line, and the governor signed into law last week. That's going to provide immediate relief to St. Louis County, and it's something I'm extremely proud to be able to do in my final year.
You know, we Hicks may not like to admit it, but if there's free cheese given out in West Plains or a road being built in Kirksville, frankly, the money comes from St. Louis County. It is the economic engine. And sometimes you got to prime that pump a little bit, right?
You definitely do. And again, there has to be leadership and a vision for the largest county in the state to ensure that Missouri is continuing to prosper.
Where were you at on 9/11?
I believe I was in high school.
High school?
And I remember when it happened, and I will tell you as a young person, it felt very surreal. And I hope and pray that we never experience something similar to that again.
It's been 25 years since 9/11, and it does feel like a lot of folks in the General Assembly have forgotten about that. There's a bill to help firefighters negotiate with cities that may not want to negotiate with them. It is stalled out. The majority party talks a lot about first responders, but I didn't see many of them sticking up for them this session.
Well, first we need to recognize the simple fact that public safety is an important issue, and we all depend on it. We depend on the service. You know, my entire career, I've been proud to have the support of firefighters as well as law enforcement. And I think it's important, especially for leaders, in my opinion, to stand with them. And we had an opportunity to do that. And again, our first responders have made all the difference. And I've been proud to stand with them. And I think this was a really good bill, and I was proud to vote and support it.
But it didn't pass. And there's going to be folks that look for why. Can't blame Democrats for that.
No, you can't. And again, you know, we have this conversation around public safety, whether or not we should have safe communities and safe regions in a safe state, but it doesn't seem to reflect that. And again, it's a difference between advocating for public safety, supporting first responders, which we know have a high stress, dangerous job, but campaigning on it as if you care and knowing at the end of the day you choose to defund them. Or not provide them with incentives to support their families. And I think that's something we saw happen in the legislature this week, and it was unfortunate.
You've been the top person on the Democratic bench for statewide candidates for a long time, county candidates, congressional candidates. You've chosen to run for county executive of St. Louis County. Why?
I believe in it. You know, we have to have a leader that has a vision, that recognizes that our region, the largest county, again, drives the economy for the entire state. We have to not only believe it, we have to say it, and then we have to have a government that feels close to people. You know, I've had an opportunity as a state senator to do some things in the minority party that I believe has warranted opportunities for St. Louis County that I'm proud of. You know, I think about the fact that last Monday, or this past Monday, I was standing with Chief Gregory, the police chief, as well as county leaders, the county council, for a ribbon cutting ceremony for Precinct 2, which is a regional intelligence facility. Our office secured $23 million for that. Or the demolition of Jamestown Mall, which as a kid for me was an eyesore in North St. Louis County.
Yeah.
To be able to do those things, you know, I've built a record of being a champion for St. Louis County, and now I'm excited about the opportunity to give voters, hopefully, the chance to be able to allow me to lead and translate that leadership from here back home.
Senator Brian Williams, hope we'll come back and talk about the campaign as it unfolds this summer here on This Week in Missouri Politics.
Hey, Scott, thanks for having me, man. And again, it's always an honor to be on your show.